שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ.
Then lie, ya die di di die, then lie, ya lie, ya lie, ya lie, ya lie, ya lie, ya lie, Yai dai di di dai da nai, a lai dai dai da dai, a nai na nai nai na nai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai di di dai da nai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai di di dai da nai, ya lai, ya lai, ya nai, ya lai dai, ya nai, ya lai, ya dai di di dai da nai, ya lai, ya lai. Ya nai, ya nai nai, ya lai, ya lai, ya dai di di dai da lai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai di di dai da nai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai dai dai da dai, ya lai di di dai da dai, ya lai. Yallai, 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 dai, yallai, yallai, yai, dai, di, di, dai, yallai, 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 dai, yallai, yallai, yai, dai, di, di, dai, yallai, yallai, dai, dai, da, dai, yallai, dai, dai, na, nai, yallai, dai, dai, da, dai, yallai, di, di, dai, dai. Ya lie and I hide it, ya lie and I hide it, ya lie and I hide it, I lie did it, and I. Yanai, 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 didi, dai, yanai, 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 didi, dai, yanai, 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 hi, dai, yanai, yanai, dai, dai, yanai, yanai, hi, dai, yanai, didi, dai, yanai. Ya lie and I hide it, ya lie and I hide it, ya lie and I hide it, ya die, dee, die, and die. Shabbat Shalom.
There we go. Can you hear me now? Okay, needless to say, it has been such a challenging week. Our hearts are heavy and we are so very tired as we try to grapple with the loss of so many lives in Uvalde this week. In addition to all the other unrest and uncertainty in the world, it feels like too much. So let us see Shabbat as a moment where we have permission to rest, if only for a little while, before we resume the task of trying to make meaning in our lives. I found these words by Rabbi Karen Kadar to be soothing and uplifting, and I hope you will too. Dear God, place me as a speck upon a ray of light, illuminated like a particle of dust in the sweep of destiny. I reach my hand across the expanse. I turn to you in prayerful discernment and walk as a faithful partner, doing what I can, what I must, what is in my power, no more, no less, constant and sure. And then letting go of the rest. Letting go. Let it be. O God of all, source and sustainer of mystery, teach me, guide me, open my heart, that I may live with renewed energy and humility and limited consequence. Amen. We welcome light into the darkness as we turn to page 3. It's my pleasure to invite up Cheryl Davis to offer the reading before we kindle our Sabbath lights.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen.
We turn to page 5 for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrahe kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim.
Chaim.
Turn with us to page 13 as we welcome Shabbat with song from Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, sing a new song unto God.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
On 22, Psalm 92, the third line down, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, it is good to praise Adonai.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balelot. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balelot. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodol Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon.
And we turn back to page 20 as we make ready to welcome that Sabbath bride as we sing Lachad Odi. We sing verses 1 and 2, 5 and 9. And when we reach verse 9, Bo'ih v'shalom, we rise as a congregation, turning to face the entrance of our sanctuary so that we may welcome that Shabbos spirit, that Sabbath bride. Knowing that whether you're here in the Wolf Sanctuary or joining us on live stream, all of us are united in hopes and prayers for peace, in feeling that Shabbos peace and making that Shabbos spirit come alive. So join with us.
Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, leshem u'tiferet v'litchila. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekol habracha. Me'osh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'mashvat chila. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'oreh komi ori, 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 shidaberi kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Bo'ih v'shalom, ateret bala, gam v'simcha uv'tzola. Toch emunei am segula, bo'ih hala, bo'ih hala. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Adoni likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
Turn to those around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know how glad you are they're here. Y'all are a little quiet today. I thought you'd be a little more, oh, don't watch me fall up the stairs. I'm okay. I'm good. We turn to page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing through the Shema.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא יברך יראותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם לעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Yaida Ida 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 Yaida Ida 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 Yaida Ida 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 Yaida Ida Yaida Ida 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 Ido.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma potech sha'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. At the top of page 33, we read together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevon Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. We continue together with the Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וטבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On the bottom of page 39, we read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא עושה, נורא עושה אדוני.
At the top of page 43, we join together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, Val Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. The top of page 44, we join together singing V'Shamiru as we join and with Rejoice in Shabbat.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
On page 46, we rise for the tefillah.
Hididai-dai-dai, dididai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai, dididai-dai-dai, hididai-dai-dai, dididai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai, dididai. Adonai sefatai tiftach, Ufi hagi teilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Hididai-dai-dai, dididai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai, dididai-dai-dai, hididai-dai-dai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב אתה מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. On the top of page 55, we read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. On the bottom of page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubts, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levaracha b'yirah na'avod. On page 58, we share in Hoda'ah, our prayer for Thanksgiving, together. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shincha ulecha na'eh lechodot. Of course, we all know that this weekend we observe Memorial Day on Monday, and so I have a special prayer for peace written by Rabbi Larry Milder in recognition of Memorial Day. Our God, God of our ancestors, we thank you for the numerous blessings you have bestowed upon our nation. Out of the many nations of the world, our country has been blessed with a singular opportunity to demonstrate how peoples of many faiths and heritages can live side by side and enrich one another's lives through friendship and sharing of our unique traditions. We are united this day in a solemn act of gratitude to those who have served in our nation's defense, to those who have risked their personal safety to save the lives of others, and above all, to those who have died serving this country. Their sacrifices are forever remembered by us and by our children for generations to come. We do not forget. Our hearts go out to those serving today in our armed forces and to their families. Those of us who are veterans of previous wars know best of all what they must be feeling, what their spouses and children are feeling, what they pray for. In all our many faiths, we are united in this. Our prayers are with those who serve our country today. We ask God that they may return speedily and in good health and safety to their loved ones. And may God grant each of us the wisdom to uphold this nation's virtues, that it may continue to serve as a beacon of liberty and harmony between peoples for all the world to see. Amen. Connecting prayers for peace in the world to prayers for wholeness and healing in our lives, we pause now to offer a Mishaberach, a prayer of healing for those who are in our hearts and on our minds. If there's someone that you are especially praying for now, I invite you to think about them. Close your eyes if you wish so that you can picture them, and whisper their names out loud. We link blessings for those who are in our hearts to those in need of healing, their names listed on our order of service, whether it's on the screen or on the handout that you were able to pick up on your way in. We're strengthened by each other's prayers as we sing Mishaberach on page 253.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength You bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take a few moments now for our own personal prayers for peace.
On September 1st, 2001, I delivered a Devar Torah from my congregation's bima as I became a bat mitzvah. My Devar Torah was about the mass school shooting in Columbine, a devastating event that shocked our country just 2.5 years before on April 20th, 1999. Never in a million years did I think that almost 21 years later, I would be giving another Devar Torah from a different bima, in a different state, as an adult, as a rabbi, still talking about mass school shootings. Since 2009, there have been 274 mass shootings, which is defined by Everytown Research, where I got my information, as any incident in which 4 or more people are shot and killed, excluding the shooter. From those 274 mass shootings, 1,536 people were shot and killed, and 938 people were shot and wounded. These numbers do not include the gun deaths or injuries from non-mass shootings. In 2022, which I remind you, we are not even 6 months into, we have already surpassed 200 mass shootings, at 214 so far. In 2022 shootings, mass or not, 142 children ages 0 to 11 have been killed, and 516 teens ages 12 to 17 have been killed. Some of these numbers come from the 27 school shootings that resulted in injuries or death just in these less than 6 months of 2022. In those 27 school shootings, 83 people were killed or injured, 24 of them children killed. I, like Steve Kerr, head coach of the NBA's Golden State Warriors and a former Chicago Bull, am fed up. I've had enough. We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and say, let's have a moment of silence. But we do that over and over and over again. We are devastated, and then we move on until the next horrific killing that shakes us to our core, the way I thought Columbine did, the way I thought this could never happen again. We all think this should be the last time, and then it comes back again. Another shooting, more horrific deaths of innocent people. On Tuesday morning, before the shooting in Uvalde, and that shooter, who I will not glorify by naming him, shot his grandmother and entered Robb Elementary School, I proudly went to a polling location and voted. I knew it was important that I express my vote and knew I had to go get it done. On my way out, I obviously took an I voted sticker because that's very important, but I also took 2 more stickers that said future voters for my boys. Later that day, as news broke about Uvalde, I couldn't stop thinking about the stickers and what it really meant. My boys and all of the children you know and love are our future. We need to be making change for them, showing them that we care about them and their future, that we want them to live to see a future. I am not a politician, and I am not here to talk about policy changes and legislation. Frankly, I don't have all the answers. I have ideas, but not answers, and I'll share those ideas with my elected officials, hoping that my voice is heard. Tonight is about community and connection. I fear that we are too closed off from one another to hear each other. It is human to lash out and be angry about the state of our society and the deaths of 32 people in 2 weeks from all areas of the country: Buffalo, New York, Laguna Woods, California, and Uvalde, Texas. I'm so furious that I search for someone or something to blame. And at the same time, I recognize the warning in this week's Torah portion of Bechukotai, which is mainly comprised of blessings and curses, with the caveat that if you do everything God says, you will be blessed, and if not, you will be cursed. But I can't believe that innocent lives have been taken as a punishment because someone somewhere wasn't following God's commandments. Rabbi Nathan in this week's announcements expressed this very idea. But I would like to focus on a different way to confront the ideas of blessings and curses. I would like to think about how we can see each other more clearly and compassionately to bring more blessings and less curses into all of our lives. This feels more important than ever, especially in light of the past 2 weeks. In the first line of curses, the Hebrew of Leviticus 26:16 says, Af ani e'aseh zot lachem, v'hifkadati alechem beha'alah. I, in turn, will do this to you. I will wreak misery upon you. The word beha'alah, misery, has been translated in many ways as terror, panic, or shock. As Rabbi Noah Arno explains, according to Rabbi Abraham Ibn Ezra, it has the sense of being scared, suddenly, without knowing what to do. This terror and confusion makes it hard to understand, to listen, to heed, adds Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh. When we're scared, our fight or flight response kicks in. We may freeze or run or lash out, but when we're scared, we are bad listeners. We can rarely even understand what's going on around us and inside us. This curse is about feeling helpless, dominated, and lacking self-confidence, Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch explains. All of this makes sense to me. This is the human response that when misery, panic, terror, or shock impacts us, we have these many different reactions, but in all of them, we are unable to stop from reeling. This fear and anxiety keeps us from being able to say anything comprehensible in a calm, collected way that can actually make an impact. We are in a time, and I would argue more than ever before, when people are just not listening to one another. I feel like I'm yelling into a void, that sometimes my voice doesn't matter to the people who can make a change happen. As Rabbi Noah Arno continued, the drift and momentum will continue to push us further down this path, onward toward the next curse. Maybe, though, with some effort, some focus and attention, and crucially, some slowing down individually and collectively, we can start moving in the other direction toward blessings. I feel strongly that calm conversation, impassioned testimonies, concrete solutions, and face-to-face dialogue are what we need to truly bring about change. This is not to say that we shouldn't fight for what we believe in, or not vote, or lobby, or not contact our elected officials. We should do all of these things. My point is that if we don't come from a place of holiness, but of fear and anxiety, we will never get anywhere. We will constantly throw up our hands and say, I can't even talk to that person, when they don't believe exactly what we believe. We will just make that rift even deeper. This Torah portion serves, in a way, as God's reminder to recognize the little things and appreciate what is around us, especially and even more so in times that make no sense. When we are jarringly thrust into fear and anxiety, we must strive to put everything back into perspective. We need to put holiness in everything we do to really make a difference. What does that look like? I think frank, open, and honest conversation. But it can't just be conversation with some random person you've never met before. It needs to be someone who you trust, you have respect for, and maybe even love, and who has different views than you. It needs to be a face-to-face dialogue. These conditions are because we tend to talk in a void with people who are like-minded. We tend to think that those who think differently than us are horrible people or are ignorant. We tend to think that if the conversation is done online, we can easily block, unfriend, delete, or just close the computer, shutting down a conversation that may have potential to bridge a gap. These are things that not just us in this room or streaming services need to do, but also our elected officials. If we are going to do anything legislatively, these kinds of conversations need to happen to create any kind of bipartisan bill, of any kind. But none of that is going to happen without getting to know one another outside of political affiliation. We can point fingers all day, but as I remind people, when you point a finger, there are 3 pointing back at yourself. We have to do the hard work too. We can't just put it on our elected officials. We can't expect it to be done for us. Fear and anxiety have the power to shut us down, to not work towards holiness. Now is the time to do that. It is up to us. I offer this prayer from Gates of Prayer, a former Reformed prayer book. The universe whispers that all things are intertwined, yet at times we hear the loud cry of discord. To which voice shall we listen? Although we long for harmony, we cannot close our ears to the noise of war, the rasp of hate. How dare we speak of Concord when the fact and symbol of our age is Auschwitz? The intelligent heart does not deny reality. We must not forget the grief of yesterday, nor ignore the pain of today. But yesterday is past. It cannot tell us what tomorrow will bring. If there is goodness at the heart of life, then its power, like the power of evil, is real. Which shall prevail? Moment by moment, we choose between them. If we choose rightly and often enough, the broken fragments of our world will be restored to wholeness. For this, we need strength and help. We turn and hope, therefore, to power beyond us. The eternal has many names, but is one, creating, sustaining, loving, inspiring us with the hope that we can make ourselves one as God is one. Let us make ourselves one country, one people, one humanity, all connected in seeking to make this world a better place, surely for us and right now, but definitely for our future generations. May this be our will. Shabbat Shalom.
We continue with the concluding portion of our service. Aleinu is on page 283. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we prepare for Kaddish, we note with sadness the deaths of James Fenstermacher, husband of Sarah Fenstermacher and fellow Fenstermacher of blessed memory, father of Ruth and Michael Molinas, Mark and David Jacobson, Joseph and Alice Navarrijo and Veronica Elstro, grandfather and great-grandfather to many. great-great-grandfather to one. We also recognize, as I said, that Monday is Memorial Day, when we pay tribute to our fallen soldiers, all those who lost their lives serving in the various branches of the United States Armed Forces. We share in meditation number 10 on page 293. Yizkor, we remember. Remember our people who suffered and died so that we could be free and secure. May their memory be more than a distant shadow.
For their dreams left unfulfilled and lives taken too soon, we remember.
Remember our brothers and sisters whose sacrifice kept the dream of democracy and justice alive. May their courage be our inspiration and strength.
For life cut short and vision unrealized, we remember.
Remember the fallen of our armed services, the victims of terror and tragedy. May the darkness of their loss not obscure the light of peace. They were in love with our land and in love with life.
For the agony, the tears, the mothers and the fathers, for the children who were and for the children yet to be, we remember.
On this Shabbat, we consecrate the yahrzeits observed in our congregation this week of Lucille Alberts, Jack Alter, Shirley Alter, Fofo Anthony, Benita Wiederman Batt, Ruth Baer, Becky Block, Dorothy Dottie Drieben Block, Sabina Lowenberg Block, Emma Brown, Patricia May Campbell, Henry Cohen, Julius Dubb, Lily Fisher, Henry Fischel, Herman H. Fleischman, Doris Frost, Howard Goldberg, Erwin Golden, Jetty Gosshock, Nita Greenberg, Sadie Grossman, Jack Gerwitz, Sarah Josephson, Dr. Maria Kiseleva, Freda Kleinman, Estelle Kovner, Jack Krasner, Anatoly Kravchenko, Herbert Lauterstein, Hollis Harold Letty, Alex Lieberman, Jacob Menick, Richard Neely, Lenore Neer, Helene Offerdinger, John Ofterdinger, Robert Jack Parker, Harold Reamer, Max Rosenblum, Morris Rosenstein, Myrna Rosenstein, Leah Rubenstein, Dr. Morris Rubenstein, Willis Salomon, Ira Schwartz, Lisbeth Scheffs-Schachman, Beatrice Stein, Stancy Stein, Louis R. Sutton, Richard R. Tussey, Bernard Weinstein, Robert Weinstein, and Henry D. Wexner Jr. To their memories, we link the names of those who in the last 30 days, Shloshim, have been laid to their eternal rest. We remember Carol Blonder, Michael Powerstein, Alvin Weiss, Paul Harold Friedman, Marshall Seidman, Nathan Schlenker, and Christopher George. And to their names, we link the name of one who was laid to his eternal rest this past week, his family in the period of Shiva, Josue Romero, husband of Lisa Farnett, Aaron, father of Aaron and Joaquin Romero. And tonight we also remember 22 souls who perished in Uvalde this week. We're united in sorrow. We offer prayers of consolation to the families personally affected, to all the citizens of Uvalde whose lives are forever changed. And we grieve for what might have been, for joys unrealized, for tasks undone, for hopes thwarted, for growth arrested, for love blighted, for challenges unmet. We remember Alexandria Anya Rubio, Ameria Jo Garza, Tess Marie Mata, Jose Flores, Miranda Mathis, Maddie Rodriguez, McKenna Lee Elrod, Xavier Lopez, Eliana Garcia, Leila Salazar, Eliana Cruz Torres, Althea Ramirez, Jackie Caceres, Annabelle Rodriguez, Halia Silguero, JC Luevanos, Uzia Garcia, Nevia Bravo, Rogelio Torres, Eva Marcellus, Irma Garcia, and Joe Garcia. Zichronam livracha, may every single one of their memories be a blessing. We rise together as a congregation, united in sorrow. On page 294, we share in the words of Kaddish together. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabah, Ve'alma divra chirute ve'amlich malchute. V'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Va'agala uvizman kari v'yamru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitodar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha berechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Ta'amiram be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to all of us, to all Israel, to all the world, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It is my pleasure to invite up Debbie Ruse, President of our Board of Trustees, to offer greetings and announcements.
I'd like to welcome everyone, and I'm so glad you could join us both in our sanctuary and in your own sacred space. Before I share the upcoming events at Temple, I want to share a realization that I had last Friday night as I gripped the railing and made my way down the beam of stairs. I realized I was squandering some of my precious public time that I had, and to do what I do well, lead and create vision. So for a few weeks, or maybe more, I'd like to briefly channel Dr. Martin Luther King and share some dreams and possibilities I have for Temple in the hopes that maybe you share them, or perhaps they inspire some dreams for you. Here's my first. I have a dream that one day we have a sanctuary and a bima where there are no stairs and that our Ark and our Torahs are easily accessible for the young, the old, the able-bodied, and the physically challenged, or those of us who wear heels. That's just one of my dreams for our synagogue. So here are the upcoming events at Temple. Every Friday night at 6 p.m., please join us for our pre-Shabbat oneg as we share in snacks and community as we prepare to welcome Shabbat. In honor of Memorial Day on Sunday, May 29th at 10 a.m., members of the Jewish war veterans, Post 753, will be placing an American flag on the graves of Jewish veterans buried in Bethel's Austin Highway Cemetery, and I believe the Palmetto Cemetery as well. The Temple offices will be closed on Monday, May 30th in observance of the memorial holiday. The holiday of Shavuot celebrates the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai as well as summer grain harvest. And this year, Erev Shavuot is Saturday, June 4th, with the evening festival service beginning at 6 p.m., followed by a light dairy dinner and study with Rabbi Nathan, who will explore a multifaceted concept of what it means to be created in the image of God. Shavuot morning service with Yizkor Memorial Prayers will be held on Sunday, June 5th at 10:30 a.m. Information and details about these events and many other opportunities can be found on our website in the weekly email. Shabbat Shalom.
I like that dream. As a heel wearer myself. Our closing song is Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu on page 353. Please rise.
Od yevo shalom aleinu. Od yevo shalom aleinu. Od yevo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od yevo shalom aleinu. Od yevo shalom aleinu. Od yevo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Od yevo shalom aleinu. Od yevo shalom aleinu. Od yevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yevo shalom aleinu. Od yevo shalom aleinu. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלם שלום. סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלם שלום. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם.
Indeed, I know our prayer for all of us this Shabbat is that peace might soon come to all of us. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.